Can't help but feel that might have been directed at me. And here's the thing.
This is
We're
like
in the fight of our lives right now. Donald Trump and his allies have made it abundantly clear that they will stop at nothing, not even foreign interference, to hold on to power. They have already put together more than $300 million. This is our chance. This is our only chance to defeat Donald Trump. And we shouldn't try to do it with one hand tied behind our back. The way we're going to win is to bring everybody to our side in this fight. If that means that you're a grad student digging deep to go online to PeteForAmerica.com and chip in $10, that's great. And if you can drop 1,000...
This really frustrated me. So this is really disgusting. What he's doing here is really disgusting. One, this is the only opportunity he has in front of a large audience for free to plug small dollar donations so he can drive down his average number. So that's one. Just remember that he's doing this. Pete here is doing this exclusively so he can try to get some small dollar donations so he can drive down his average, okay? That's the exclusive purpose why he said, oh, you know, you can do a $10 donation. And secondly, after we pass through that, we go back to the real reason why he's trying to bring down his average donation number, because he's exclusively propped up by wealthy benefactors and billionaires and top lobbyists in Washington. He was one of the only candidates originally to say, before Biden entered the race, to say, yeah, I don't care, I'm going to do this, I'm still going to get money from top donors. So he's doing that. He's doing that to lower his average. But the other frustrating thing here is the fact that he is completely open to taking money from wealthy people, from corporations, millionaires, and PACs, right? And he's doing that just so he can justify it. He's about to say that it's cancel culture. Like, he's about to take something that people don't like a lot of voters don't like cancel culture and purity testing. This is something that the average American is not interested in. I know, leftist audience, don't be shocked, but this is the reality outside of our little bubble. Americans hate cancel culture and they hate purity testing, okay? So he's about to tie getting money from billionaires and corporations and the wealthy to purity testing. So something that is deeply unpopular with Americans. Americans do resent wealthy people buying out our elections and things of that nature. To purity testing. Watch.
$1,000 without blinking, that's great too. We need everybody's help in this fight. I'm not going to turn away anyone who wants to help us defeat Donald Trump. We need Democrats who've been with us all along, yes, but we also need independents worried about the direction of the country. If you were a Republican, disgusted with what's going on.
And he's tying this back to like an overall unity. Okay? He's tying this back to like overall unity, when in fact the only thing he's doing here is basically saying, I'm going to get money from big donors, and that's because I want to defeat Donald Trump and I don't care. And it's really good for all of the like pragmatic professional managerial class, like the wonks in DC that respond to this very positively, because that's the world that they're in. So what he's doing, and because he's very effective rhetorically, what he's doing is like merging those two worlds basically and mashing them together and trying to defend. And that's why when I heard this, I was incredibly frustrated. I was incredibly frustrated when I heard this the first time. Let's see what goes on after this.
Party. We're not going to agree on everything, but we need you in this fight, and I will welcome you to our side.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Senator Warren, 45 seconds to respond.
So the mayor just recently had a fundraiser that was held in a wine cave full of crystals and served $900 a bottle wine.
So good.
Think about who comes to that. He had promised that every
this was very good.
he would do would be open door, but this one was closed door. We made the decision.
By the way, hold on. I'm sorry to pause this, but just look at Pete's mannerism, dude. Okay? He is so frustrated. This is a guy who has won his entire life, except for the Indiana Treasurer race, which Amy Klobuchar perfectly brought up. This is a guy who's he is a killer, okay? Like, just look at the sociopathic white knuckle rage coming from his body when someone dare turn around and say and call him out. Oh my God. That's why Felix had this really funny take where, I mean, we all meme about this, but I'll just show you really quickly, where Felix said, when you're about to blow off steam from a rough debate at the South Bend Animal Shelter. Oh, Jesus Christ, dude. Yeah, of course his fists are clenched. He's white knuckling and his jaw is just shut. Every time he gets any sort of pushback, whether it be like a random teenager who dares ask him, what's going on? Like, what's going on, Pete Buttigieg? Like, why are you taking money from billionaires? Or Elizabeth Warren says, you're at a wine cave. What's happening with that? Congratulations, Vanna Man, for getting into you, Mitch. Proud of you, buddy. He responds and like his eyes just like, you just see like the blood curdling rage inside of him.
Many years ago, that rich people in smoke-filled rooms would not pick the next president of the United States. Billionaires in wine caves should not pick the next president of the United States.
Mr. Mayor, your response.
You know, according to Forbes magazine, I am literally the only person on this stage who's not a millionaire or a billionaire.
What a loser. Loser. Sorry. Loser. Imagine working for McKinsey. Imagine working for corporate entities and not even being a millionaire. What a loser. You know who the second loser on that stage is? Joe Biden. Imagine being a politician for your entire life and not even racking up as much money as Bernie Sanders, baby. Let's go. What a bunch of losers, dude. Imagine doing it for the love of the game. Okay? Imagine doing neoliberalism exclusively for the love of the game, dude. And not even reaping the benefits of it. That's the thing I like. That's the thing that's the thing that boggles my mind about Joe Biden, especially. Like, that's the thing that boggles my mind about Joe Biden, especially, is the fact that, like, he was the vice president and he couldn't even, like, he had to mortgage his house to, like, pay for his child's cancer treatment or something. And then Obama was like, no, I got this, homie. Like, it's fine. I got you. Like, that's how poor he was. And he was still advocating for the most insane, like, random neoliberal policies. He's still talking about cutting Social Security and Medicare. Like, it's crazy. How do you do this? Anyway, Bernie's balling. Pete's a broke bitch. Sorry, Pete. Let's keep going.
So if this is important, this is the problem with issuing.
Sorry, broke boy. No. Okay, all jokes aside, because I know a lot of people like to like take me out of context or whatever. I'm obviously joking. It doesn't matter how much money someone has unless they're like literally a billionaire, in which case they're like they have like groundbreaking, earth-shaking amounts of money. So that's a little different. But like what matters is whose interest that you hold and whose interest that you want to advocate for. And Pete has time and time again shown that he is just all fluff and no substance in the way that he talks. He's very eloquent. He's great. He's a great speaker, but it's all shallow and it's all empty promises. Well, not even empty promises. It's just like there's not really a lot of promises, and it's exclusively because he just wants the centrist neoliberal establishment Democrats backing so that he can so that he can just go up and become president. So, anyway, let's keep going.
Doing purity tests you cannot yourself pass. If I pledge never to be in the company of a progressive Democratic donor, I couldn't be up here. Senator, your net worth is 100 times mine. Now, supposing that you went home feeling the holiday.
She made like 60 grand as a Harvard graduate, like lawyer, dude. She made like 60 grand a year. Okay. She barely put together like $2 million over the course of 30 years. Okay. She is also broke. She's also a broke boy. Okay. Anyway, I don't know how much money Warren has now, but like, come on. Like, it smelled like broke in here. Exactly. They're all a bunch of brokes. They're all a bunch of poors. Get out of here. Yeah, we're voting for Tom Steyer in here, dude. Losers. Anyway, so he's pulling the I'm actually poor, by the way, card. It doesn't matter if you're poor. You're still sucking up the corporate interest, dog. That's what we're talking about.
Holiday spirit, I know this isn't likely, but stay with me, and decided to go on to PeteForAmerica.com and give the maximum allowable by law, $2,800. Would that pollute my campaign because it came from a wealthy person? No, I would be glad to have that support. We need the support from...
Dude, that's so dishonest, by the way. Like, maxing out the Bernie Sanders is not going to pollute his campaign. Maxing out the Pete is not going to pollute his campaign. There's a difference between individual donors and like PAC money. And there's a difference between someone like myself who has a decent amount of money, who can like go out and max out the political campaigns, versus someone like the independent fundraiser, that the attendee that is also doing lobbying for Pfizer and doing lobbying for Raytheon. Okay, like, that's so psychotic to try to merge those two things when that's obviously not the case.
From everybody who is committed to helping
Did you
us
donate to Bernie's
defeat
campaign? Of course.
We would like to bring in everyone, but obviously, Senator Warren, I'd like to give you a chance to respond.
I do not sell access to my time. I don't do call time
Hold on a
with
second.
millionaires and billionaires.
Sorry, as
I pointed this out during the debate, but the reason why she took a pledge with Cenk, actually, to not take corporate PAC money. Like, that was Cenk's doing, for the record.
when, Senator?
I don't meet behind closed doors with big dollar donors. And look, I've taken one that ought to be an easy step for everyone here. I've said to anyone who wants to donate to me, if you want to donate to me, that's fine. But don't come around later expecting to be named ambassador, because that's what goes on in these high dollar fundraisers. I said no, and I asked everybody on this stage to join me. This ought to be an easy step, and here's the problem. If you can't stand up and take the steps that are relatively easy, can't stand up to the wealthy and well-connected when it's relatively easy when you're a candidate, then how can the American people believe you're going to stand up to the wealthy and well-connected when you're president and it's really hard?
Judy.
Senator,
It's a good line, but he is going to destroy her.
Mayor, we're
if
going
you
to give you one
can't
more
say
chance to
no
respond.
to a donor, then you have no business running for office in the first place. But also, Senator, your presidential campaign right now, as we speak, is funded in part by money you transferred, having raised it at those exact same big-ticket fundraisers you now denounce. Did it corrupt you, Senator? Of course not. So to denounce the same kind of fundraising guidelines that President Obama went by, that Speaker Pelosi goes by, that you yourself went by until not long ago in order to build the Democratic Party and build a campaign ready for the fight of our lives, these purity tests shrink the stakes of the most important election.
Judy.
We'd like to bring everyone in.
Yeah, no, all the other elections, like when George W. Bush was running for office, or when George W. Bush's reelection wasn't the most important. Donald Trump's reelection is the most important. They're all important, dude. I hate this line so much. Like, oh man, this is the most important election. That's why I have to take money from billionaires. Like, anyway, listen. The purity test concept is actually pretty good. Obama had 30 plus private fundraisers in 2013 at mansions and estates. Literally no one cared. Look at his fundraising. Yeah, in 2013. Thank God we're not in 2013 anymore. And 9 years of neoliberal marginalism later, Americans are finally waking up to the reality that maybe it's not great when you have closed door private fundraisers, because then you end up filling up your cabinet with Goldman Sachs executives. All right, did I say 9? 6. Okay, whatever. God damn it. was such a good line too. I just messed it up. In my mind, this is why I hate Andrew Yang, because I was just not good at math. Not good at math. Anyway, like I said, it's really silly to bring that up because, yes, if Obama was running right now, pretty sure he would be running in a similar fashion to Pete Buttigieg, now that it's like super mask off at this point, what he's representing. And he would get a lot of flag. He would get a lot of criticism. Anyway, it was a good retaliation back to Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren has held like closed door meetings, and she has raised money from she has raised money from, I believe, Raytheon as well. Like, she's Massachusetts, so she's definitely gotten defense contractor money. I'll just tell you that much. And I think that's part of the reason why she's also like more focused on the energy side of the military rather than the imperialism side of the military. Now, the real reason, like, aside from her vision of change, which I, of course, disagree with, I think Bernie Sanders' vision of change is much better and actually pragmatic, rather than I'm going to have the best legislation that everyone's going to everyone's just going to have no other option but to vote for. But I think that's her biggest weakness, or not her biggest weakness, but her most dangerous opinions are those that justify American imperialism. We need a president, like, fighting against the military industrial complex is going to be almost impossible, okay? But we absolutely need a president who is going to be dedicated to fight against that.